blue, but then we'll just keep going. Good morning. Who else is there? Good morning, Joshua Okore. Good morning to you. Okay, so it's a new week, and as usual, we start with our fundamental analysis. Then from there, we proceed to the technicals to see what the market has got in stock for us. Now, today, Monday, we're having two major events today, and well, not really major anyway because they are medium impact. 1:30 p.m. today there will be Empire State Manufacturing Index, and by 7, that's from United States, and 7:30 p.m. today there will be ECB President Lagarde speech. ECB there stands for European Central Bank Governor. So the European Central Bank Governor Lagarde will give a speech by 7:30 p.m., which is much more later today. So the only tradable event today is actually the Empire State Manufacturing Index from the United States, and even at that, it's a medium impact event. It will come up by 1:30 p.m. We really don't expect any serious volatility. So it means today is as good as the market may just be open for technical trades. But then I will still advise around that 1:30 p.m. if you have any running technical trade, please be very cautious around it. But we don't expect much volatility from news events today. All right, so tomorrow Tuesday, I will look more at the most important events going forward because of our time. Tomorrow, Tuesday, there will be the CPI from Canada. CPI's Consumer Price Index is one of the major economic indicators, in the financial market. And tomorrow, Tuesday, is loaded with a lot of events from Canada and United States by 1:30 p.m. You can see I just marked it on the screen. Because by 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, there will be CPI from Canada, CPI monthly, median CPI, yearly CPI, and trimmed CPI and the common CPI, four CPI events from Canada, and it will happen simultaneously with the core retail sales and retail sales from United States. So volatility is really expected. This is going to be there'll be a lot of impact in the market from all these events combined together. So watch out for that by 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday. And the key events on Wednesday will be one, the GBP. Now, this event tomorrow is tradable, though we're not going to be trading it live, but then you can plan to trade it ahead by yourself if you know how to trade news. Maybe you've attended any of our physical training sessions or online session where we have talked about fundamental analysis, then you can just go ahead and use that knowledge to trade these events by yourself. Good morning, Mr. Sheu Keoleri and Joshua Okori. Please, I would like to encourage us this morning, if you have your video feed on, please kindly put it off so that it does not affect our bandwidth for our data. We really appreciate if you can do that. And on Wednesday, the important event on Wednesday is one, we have the CPI from the United Kingdom. This is also going to be a tradable event. You can plan ahead to trade this by 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. And later on that same Wednesday by 2:45 p.m., there'll be BOC rate statement and overnight rate from Canada. This will take place by 2:45 p.m. 3 p.m. there'll be BOC press conference. Then later 7 p.m. there'll be federal fund rate, FOMC economic projections, and FOMC statement. So Wednesday is another loaded date. I mean day rather, with a lot of let's say tradable events. At least number one, the CPI from United Kingdom is going to be tradable by 7 a.m. You can really plan towards trading this one. And by 2:45 p.m., the federal BOC, that's Bank of Canada rate statement and overnight rate, that is actually interest rate from Canada. That will also be tradable. And later in the evening by 7 p.m., there'll be FOMC from United States. FOMC is Federal Market Committee. That's the committee that determines whether there'll be an increase in interest rates or not. So this is going to be tradable also by 7 p.m. But I will caution that this FOMC can be very, very volatile. And sometimes outcomes may be, how do I really put it? Market may be very shaky due to it. So if you want to trade it with a lot of caution. But those are the key events for Wednesday. And on Thursday, there is employment change and unemployment rate from Australia by 2:30 a.m. Nigerian time. Well, you have a choice. Maybe you stay awake or you wait early to trade it. I mean, there's no harm picking some few dollars in the middle of the night. Any labor that will give you some little profit without much work, it's not a bad idea. So the choice is yours if you want to wake up early to trade this by Thursday morning, 2:30 a.m. But then if you miss that, I always tell us that if you miss a trade, don't feel bad. There will always be another trade another day, and that's the truth. And that same Thursday, there are still other opportunities to still trade news events. By 12 p.m., there'll be monetary policy summary, MPC official bank rate votes on an official bank rate. This is still talking about interest rate for the United Kingdom. It's going to come up by 12 p.m. So volatility is expected on the British pound. And by 1:30 p.m. on Thursday again, there will be unemployment claims and fully fed manufacturing index. So you can see that if you miss out on the AUD, there is still the GBP and there is the USD event same day, which will also be tradable. And finally, on Friday, the key events for Friday will be from Japan, and it's going to be on the Japanese yen, and that's the BOJ policy statement, monetary policy statement, and BOJ press conference. Now it's tentative, meaning no specific time has been allotted to it yet. It can come up anytime. It can come up in the middle of the night. It can come up during the day. We don't know yet, so no time has been fixed. But then the other events for the day, we have retail sales from the United Kingdom. Now this is a medium impact event, so but then retail sales sometimes is 50-50. It may move, it may not move, but then you can trade it with caution, So I would say let's still put some attention on this. And finally, by 1:30 p.m., there will be core retail sales and retail sales from Canada. Now, these two, they are both medium impact events in the real sense. But there's something about medium impact event. If it is just a one item, we may not expect much volatility. But if it is two combined together like this, it may carry the same volatility of at least one red or one high impact event. So I would say that we're putting a lot of attention on this core retail sales and retail sales from Canada on Friday. All right, so that'll be all from the fundamental, aspect of our trading for this week. We'll switch over to the charts now and we'll look at the charts on the MetaTrader platform to see what the week has in stock from a technical perspective. So I'm switching over right now to my MetaTrader platform. Sorry, it's taking a little while to load. It's loading gradually. All right, so my MetaTrader is up. All right, now from my analysis, the AUD pairs will be very much impacted, by news, generally by the markets this week. You know, majority of the AUD pairs are showing a lot of weakness, a lot of weakness. And I'll start with the first one, which is the AUD card. All right, so this is the AUD card. As usual, we'll do what is called top-down analysis. We check from the higher time frame and we scale it down to the lower time frame. So this is the AUD card on the weekly time frame. We can clearly see that we have a trend line that is descending downwards, making a series of lower high, and the third lower high, is on the candle that closed last week, Friday. It has a candle for last week. So technically, we're looking for a bearish movement on the AUD card. And also, coincidentally, also there is a resistance between this same candle and the shadow, the projecting shadow from this previous candle is forming a kind of a resistance there on the weekly time frame. And if we take it down to the daily, we'll see that it's still the same thing. There's still that resistance, still have that valid resistance there. So all this is pointing us to a bearish movement on the AUD card 4 hour. I'm not seeing anything much on the 4 hour except that I'm seeing the possibility of a head and shoulder pattern which may give a drop there. But then let's take it finally to 1 hour time frame. All right, so this is 1 hour time frame, and I still have that shoulder, head, shoulder, and a drop with a rising wedge pattern. So I'm bearish on the AUD card for this week. So how do we trade this? Well, it's not a difficult thing if we maintain the shoulder, the head and shoulder pattern, which is what I'm actually seeing. And this new trend line I'm drawing will be the neckline region of that head and shoulder pattern. So if price breaks out below the neckline, then we'll see a bearish movement on AED card. Now I might give a signal on this if I watch it before we finish the analysis this morning. If price moves well, I might drop a signal on this particular one, like a pending order. And if we use our Fibonacci tool also, I can give projections in terms of expected profit. And to Fibonacci 38 can give as much as about 50 pips, and Fibonacci 50.1 can, sorry, 50.0 can give as much as about approximately 90 pips, and 61.8 can give as much as about 120 pips. So expect some nice movement on this instrument in the course of this week, not just today. You know, it's this a weekly analysis in the course of this week. So we're bearish on the AUD card. And like I said, this same setup is, I can see it across at least about in all about 4 AUD pairs. But then because of time, we'll not look at all of them. We just take just two. Just two. I think I will look at the AUD JPY also. Let me check AUD JPY. All right. So this is the AUD JPY, and you can see we have a valid resistance on the daily time frame. So technically, we're looking for a reversal. And without taking time, let's just take it straight to 1 hour. On 1 hour time frame, we can see we have a rising wedge pattern. So all we're waiting for now is a breakout, downwards to trigger a sell on the AUD JPY. And just as an extra caution, we want to see price break out below this minor support zone. And final confirmation will be our RSI clearly below 50. And we'll see price will drop on the AUD JPY. So we're bearish also on the AUD JPY. And let me give you the profit projection for this one also. Potentially, I can see price will drop to Fibonacci 38 on the average, about 30 pips to Fibonacci 50, about 50, let's just say roughly 50 pips, and Fibonacci 1.8, about 80 pips thereabout. So we're bearish on both the AUD card and the AUD JPY. And New Zealand JPY likewise, I'm expecting, At least the AUD and NZD likewise. I'm expecting a bearish movement. Don't forget these two setup I've given so far. They are taking place on the 1 hour time frame. So it could trigger in the course of today, possibly in the course of today. For the NZ, New Zealand JPY, I think I'm more comfortable calling it that. For the New Zealand JPY, let me do my analysis again. All right, so we can see price hit a resistance. This is a rejection candle in the resistance zone. The candle of last week Friday, the rejection candle also hit that resistance zone. So we have a resistance on the daily time frame. That's an indication that we're looking forward to a bearish movement on this instrument. Let's go to the weekly and see if there's anything to catch. I always say we don't force the trend lines. If they are not touching, don't force it. If you don't have to touch there, then okay, I think the tip here finally is making contact with this. So we're expecting a bearish movement also on the New Zealand JPY. That's the weekly time frame. All right, I think it's everything is fine now. Yeah. So we have a trend line and we have that's and the resistance. So technically we're looking for a bearish movement. And without wasting time, we go straight to 1 hour. And this is what I'm seeing on 1 hour. With a rising wedge, I'm expecting, a bearish move on this instrument. Now, there is a minor resistance here, turn support. We should be cautious of that. All right, so we'll be looking at taking a sell once a new candle breaks out below that's minor resistance turn support, and prices has already broken out, of the lower trend line. That has already happened. We're just waiting for a new candle to open below this level, and with our RSI clearly below 50. Let me check. RSI is, I think, is already below 50. It's already at 45. So we're only waiting for a new candle to drop from that place, and from there we can take a sell on the New Zealand JPY. And the profit potential on this one can be as much as, on the average, about 19 pips or 20 pips to Fibonacci 38.2, about 37 pips to Fibonacci 50, and about 55 pips to Fibonacci 61.8. So we're bearish on the New Zealand JPY. Okay, Dauda, please, what is this instrument? I believe you're talking about the Fibonacci tool. It's the one with the blue lines. It's called the Fibonacci tool. It's a very good instrument that can help you take profit levels effectively. Though if you go online on the YouTube, you can find many strategies on how to use it. But the simplest way to use it is to set your take profits, your stop loss, and the point where reversal could take place, on the chart. Retracement or reversal basically could take place on the chart. Yeah, thank you, Toichiro, for helping us to clarify that. Okay, so I've looked at the AUD card, the New Zealand JPY, AUD JPY. I'll just show you a couple of other assets that may move for the week, and I'll go to answering questions. Now, New Zealand card also, let me check that. So you can see that the movement in the week is in between the AUD and the NZD. Now, usually these two instruments are actually positively correlated, meaning they go in the same direction most of the time, the AUD pairs and the NZD pairs. So we can see bearish movements on the AUD card, New Zealand, AUD JPY, AUD card. Now, New Zealand JPY, we're seeing bearish movement also, and I'm checking the New Zealand card now, and potentially, I believe that also will have a bearish setup. Yes. Okay, okay. Yeah, this is one of my key analysis or actually for the week. Okay. So this is New Zealand card. Yeah, this is the daily time frame. We can see we have, a descending trend line, lower highs, lower highs. Technically, that should give us a bearish movement and along with a valid resistance right here. So technically, we're bearish on the New Zealand card on the daily time frame. And on the 1 hour time frame, we can see here a valid head and shoulder pattern, shoulder, head, second shoulder, and getting ready for a breakout. And profit potential for this will be in the range of, let's just say randomly from somewhere around here, about 34, 35 pips to Fibonacci 38.2, about 58 pips to Fibonacci 50, and about 80 pips there about to Fibonacci 61.8. So we're bearish on the New Zealand card. All right. So you can see that, like I said, this week is just between the AUD and the New Zealand pairs. So watch out for these specific instruments I've given, especially the AUD card, New Zealand card. I'm seeing head and shoulder is very clear on these two instruments. Very, very clear, even compared to the JPY, the AUD card, the New Zealand card. We're seeing clarity as regards the patterns on these two particular instruments. All right, finally, I'll look at BTC USD. Now, I remember telling us this about a couple of weeks now. I think it's beyond last week, but I mentioned every other week, every other time I've always mentioned it that I held a bullish outlook on the BTC because of an uptrend line here, a resistance turn support, and an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Yeah, initially I said a minor sell, but a major buy, and that has happened. Price has gone bullish. Now, price is approaching this first resistance level on the daily time frame. You can see that resistance box there. In fact, it touched it briefly. It already touched it slightly, very briefly. Will it go up or not? Maybe, maybe not. But then I think it already achieved what I anticipated it's going to achieve. Let me make zoom it bigger. Okay. Well, it didn't really touch that box, but then it equally formed a minor resistance up here on its own also. So it's still around a resistance level. So it's either of the two. So it may either reverse from here or go up and reverse from there. Except if there's a lot of volatility to push it beyond that zone. But for now, we want to hold on to more of the bearish movement, which we can track on the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, I can see it's valid. We have a valid resistance there on the 1 hour. I'm seeing, oh, sorry, I didn't do that correctly. I'm seeing a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder. Price may drop. Let me do it in a better way. Um, so we have a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder. Price may drop and target this previous resistance, which will now become a support. That's a possible movement of price on the BTC USD. So I hold on to a short-term sell on the BTC USD. All right. For the benefit of those who are just joining us, I've analyzed five instruments this morning, and they cover the broad uh, move of the market for this week. I've analyzed the AUD card. We're bearish on 1 hour. I've analyzed the AUD JPY. We're equally bearish on 1 hour. I've analyzed the New Zealand JPY. We're bearish on 1 hour, and the New Zealand card. We're also bearish on 1 hour. Four instruments, there on 1 hour. And finally, BTC USD. I've analyzed it also, and we're equally bearish on the 1 hour for these five instruments. And I want you to watch them clearly, for this week, starting from today. All right, thank you. So, Toichiro, New Zealand JPY, I already analyzed that. Joshua Corey is asking me to check gold. I'll check gold. Adeko Ishegun is asking me to check Euro card at AUD USD. All right. Now, if you observe, I didn't mention anything about the dollar. I didn't mention dollar index. For me, what I look out for is the level of probability of every trade setup I push out there. So if I'm not getting clarity or direction on a particular instrument, I really will not talk about it, because there's no point trying to talk about an instrument that doesn't have, any tradable setup at the moment. So on checking the dollar index, I'm not really seeing any clarity as regards its direction for now. Later on in the course of the day or in the course of the week, there might be a change. Okay, Dauda Ozofve, pardon me if I didn't pronounce that well, so I'll just stick with Dauda. Mr. Dauda, I believe, Emil. Uh, you said I should help you with the names of the instrument. My voice is breaking. Okay, are you the only one having, and you're hearing my voice breaking? Is any other person experiencing that? Please, can you just comment to the comment section? Let me know if my voice is breaking. Type or yes. If it's not breaking, please type a no, so that I know I can have a proper feedback and check my setup if necessary. Okay, Mr. Damilari, you mean my voice is breaking? Okay, that's a yes from Mr. Damilari. Any other person? Okay, Toichiro, sounds clear from here. Joshua Kuri, yes, that means my voice is breaking. Any other one? Any other person? Mr. Amos, yes. Madam Monaji, yes. Adeko Ishegun, clear. Okay, we seem to have more of the yes than the no. Okay, that might just be yes, Adebanji Adekomi. Okay, I think it's a general thing because we have more people saying it's a yes. Belo is saying yes, but clear now. Okay, actually had to change the position on my phone. Maybe that's why it's a bit clear now. So just a second. All right, Fabulous is saying that my voice is, jokingly, let me say, fabulously clear. All right, so all the feedback is noted. I believe we should have a clearer sound going forward. All right, so back to dollar index. For now, I'm not seeing any clarity around this instrument, and that's why I'm just trying to avoid it. Though my analysis on the Euro USD, the GBP USD, USDCHF still remains the same. I'm still expecting a drop, but uh, on swing trading, not on intraday. But at the moment, I would just say if you can ignore those major currency pairs for now, just ignore them. There's nothing much happening around them. As the week picks up, yes, we may have more clarity, we may have volatility. Look at the USDCHF, it's been ranging in the last couple of days, nothing so clear. So I would just want to stay away from these major currency pairs for now, pending the time we can get clarity on them. I'm trying to check the GBP USD. It may sell, but I can't give you, the probability is not so strong. So let's just leave them for now. All right. Now the gold, yeah, we know gold can be a bit volatile on its own, whether the dollar is cooperating or not. So we can check gold. All right, so this is gold. And we just look at it purely on the technical perspective alone. All right, so price hit this resistance level last week, and we can see that there's been a range for like 5 days. Price has not broken out above this level, so there's the likelihood of a reversal. Mind you, I did not say you are selling now. Please take notes. I'm just saying there's a likelihood. When it's going to happen, I can't say. If you had followed my analysis on gold since the last like 2 weeks now, I've said it that price hit a trend line right here on the weekly time frame, and we will see some bearish movements, and that's already happened. We can see price made a series of higher high and higher high here on the weekly time frame. That's an indication of, with price touching the trend line the third time, is an indication of a reversal and or a retracement either ways. And on the daily time frame, price ended up forming a rejection candle. So that rejection candle can still be of enough force to drive price downward. Now that's on the daily. In the last couple of days, on 1 hour, we've seen some bearish movement. It has happened a couple of times. So overall, we have a kind of a bearish outlook on the big picture. But then our focus is actually to match what is expected in the future with the present. So let's see what is happening presently, if we can match it with the future expectation. Now, if that is to happen, what I'm seeing forming at the moment looks more like a symmetrical triangle on gold, and price is just at the midpoint, or let's say it's approaching the lower part of that symmetrical triangle. All right, so this is a symmetrical triangle. Now the rule around symmetrical triangle is this: if price breaks out upwards, that will be a buy. If it breaks out downward, that will be a sell. Yeah, I tell you that on the big picture, I'm expecting, a bearish movement. So if price is able to break out below this level here, you need to take into consideration that rejection candle. If price breaks out below that level, then there's a high chance it may target the next support level. So if a new candle open below here, it will target this level here. So that can give us an opportunity to sell gold. Now, on the other hand, if price breaks out to the upside, just in case if that happens, it can still be valid. Even though it's like against the long-term view, it may still be very valid. This is gold. If it breaks out above that zone there, we'll expect it to target the next resistance up there, and that will be up here. So above, it's a buy. Below, it's a sell. If it breaks out above, there's a potential move of close to about 100 and just say 110 pips. Let's be conservative. About 110 pips movement is possible to the upside, and if it's downside, about 100 and let's say 120 pips is possible to the downside. So watch out for that in the course, possibly in the course of today or as the week unfolds. It's neither a buy nor a sell. It can break out in any of the directions, and that could as well be valid. Now, if it's going to break out on the upside, this is what will likely happen. This is giving a vibe of some inverse head and shoulder, and that may trigger to the upside possibly, or just wait for a new candle to break out below and you trigger a sell. So that's it on gold. That's my analysis. It's a symmetrical triangle, can either be a buy or a sell. And okay, so for Mr. Deko Ishegun, like I said, I'm not talking about the major currency pairs now, so I won't be talking about the AED USD or the USD JPY. I'll be looking at Euro CAD. Oh, okay. I remember this currency pair. Yeah, this is EuroCAD on the daily time frame. We actually have a rising wedge pattern, a valid rising wedge pattern on the daily time frame. And looking at it, price has touched this trend line multiple times, even with a rejection candle. Technically, the next wave of movement should be downwards to that, lower trend line over there. That's on the daily. If we take it down to the 4 hour time frame, that is still what is possible. But in recent time, there has been a range around that place. So I'll put the rectangle box there, the rectangle rather. I'll put the rectangle there to indicate we have a range. So we'll be looking out for price breaking out below this range to trigger a sell downwards. Now, if that happens in the course of this week, anytime a new candle breaks out, as in opens outside of this rectangle with your RSI clearly below 50, you're free to trigger a sell on the Euro card. So we're still bearish. And don't forget, it's a swing trade, it's a swing setup. So it's going to be on 4 hour and it can span a couple of days. It can span a couple of days. So we're bearish on the Euro card. All right, so I think that's all. I think I've attended to all the requests here. I've attended to all of them. Okay, so that's going to be all from the weekly analysis. And yeah, as I go this morning, just a parting one from me. Just a second. I'm trying to look for that New Zealand card. All right. So I'll drop a signal on the New Zealand card now, which you can take straight away. Definitely, Mr. Garba Mukhtar, you get the recorded version. All right. So New Zealand card sell stop at 0.82287. TP1 0.81947. TP2 0.81691 and stop loss 0.82551. All right, so I'll drop this right now. And in a couple of minutes, if you go to the 5X group, you will also find it there. Okay, so we can quickly take this signal as I begin to round up. So don't forget tomorrow, Tuesday and Thursday this week, we have physical training session at our two locations in Nigeria, the Abuja office and Lagos office. If you live around Lagos and its environment, Abuja, just make your way, find your way to any of those offices, and you can join us for our physical training sessions. Then don't forget on Monday and Wednesday, Monday today and Wednesday by 4 p.m. there will be online class. This caters for all our clients who cannot make it to our physical location. Maybe they are not based in Lagos or Abuja. There's an online training on Mondays and Wednesdays by 4 p.m. So do join us for these two online training days. And if you are available for physical training, you can also join us for the physical training session. And don't forget that this analysis session takes place twice in a day, 5 days a week, 7 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. from Monday down to Friday. Make sure you join us for all these sessions so that you can learn more about how the market works. And the goal is actually to make you an independent and profitable trader. That's the goal of PU Prime, to turn you from just someone on the fence to becoming a pro. That's our goal. That's our vision, as a brokerage. All right, this is going to be the end of the analysis session this morning. I believe you will have taken the signal that I've dropped. And if you have not, if you belong to the 5X group, just watch out for it in a couple of minutes. And if you're not yet a part of the 5X group, I mean, what does it require? Just make sure you have a funded account, a freshly funded account, not the account you funded last year. You just put fresh funds in your account, then reach out to your account manager, then you'll be added to the group. Okay, so that'll be all this morning. Do take care and have a wonderful week ahead. Bye bye.